Hi everyone, so I thought today's video I would do a informational video on neutering because I have recently got one of my boars neutered, so I thought I'd make a video talking a bit about it, the risks involved, how to find a good vet, how much it costs, post-op care and stuff like that. So if you think that neutering might be the right decision for you, then you'll know a bit more about it and you can make an informed decision about whether it's right for you and your guinea pig. So first of all, what is neutering? Neutering is the surgical removal of parts of the reproductive system which makes the guinea pig infertile, so unable to make babies. And the word neuter does apply to both sexes, not just males. Some other terms are altering or fixing. So in males, the vet usually makes 2 small incisions either side of the scrotum and removes the testicles. And in females, the procedure is much more invasive and usually involves removing the womb and the ovaries. The procedure in females is known to be quite risky, so it's not recommended to neuter or spay females unless it's for a medical reason, whereas with boars it's a fairly routine procedure, and with a healthy guinea pig it's usually very successful. And although a lot of rescues do choose to spay the females, that's to prevent breeding, which stops the cycle of guinea pigs being sent back to rescues. But for the reason of how risky it can be, I'm only going to talk about neutering in males in this video. So here we go. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is risks, and I think as an owner this is a part that you should be really aware of, because any surgery comes with risks, and putting small animals under general anaesthetic can be dangerous, especially for elderly or sick guinea pigs. But saying that, even for healthy guinea pigs, surgery could potentially be fatal, either on the operating table or in recovery, and that's something that you must be aware of. Neutering guinea pigs comes with more of a risk than with larger animals such as cats and dogs, because guinea pigs are smaller, which makes the surgery more difficult, and they're also more susceptible to stress, post-op infections and reactions to anaesthetic. So for this reason you do need to think really carefully about the risk and whether it's worth it for the potential benefits. So that's something I struggled with, because to me neutering always seemed like an unnecessary surgery, because guinea pigs can live happily in same-sex pairs. However, my boar Ollie is really tricky with other boars and is very dominant and territorial, as are all of my other boars. And since his cage mate Snoopy passed away, he's become a lot quieter and he's obviously missing him so much. So I thought basically I would get him neutered and then he could live with my 2 sows, Silver and Pearl. And yeah, I weighed up the risks and what would be best for him. So I thought, he's a young guinea pig, he's been really healthy, so he'd be likely to take the surgery quite well. And if I didn't try, he would have to live alone for a very long time, because I wouldn't want to bring another boar home in the hope that they would get on, because knowing his personality, they would be very likely to fall out and then I'd have 2 boars living on their own. So I went ahead and had the operation on him done, and luckily it went really well. He recovered from the anaesthetic so well and ate a huge pile of grass that afternoon. And he also went back to the vets for a checkup a couple of days later, and they were really impressed with his healing. So for me it was definitely a good decision, but you do need to be aware that it might not work out so perfectly for everyone, and there will be the odd case, even if they're healthy, they're young, everything seems right, there will be the odd case where things don't work out to plan, and that's something that you do definitely need to be aware of. It's also really important for me to note that aggressive or unwanted behaviours such as mounting, nipping, stuff like that are not valid reasons to neuter a guinea pig. Unlike with other animals such as rabbits, neutering doesn't change their behaviour. So the only times a guinea pig should be neutered is for medical reasons, or if you have a male that you would like to house with females to prevent pregnancies, or if you're a rescue and you want to stop the cycle of guinea pigs being rehomed and stuff like that. So there's also no need to neuter 2 boars living together. A lot of people think they're fighting, so I'll get them both neutered and then they'll get along. Neutering does not help this. If they fight when they're not neutered and they don't get on, they won't get on after the surgery, and it would have just been an unnecessary surgery and unnecessary money as well, so it doesn't change their personalities at all. And as well as the risks with the surgery, there's also other risks in keeping opposite sex guinea pigs together. If the male is not sterile, he can impregnate the females, which can be quite dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. I personally don't advocate breeding, and this is partly because there's already so many unwanted animals in rescues all over the world, but it's also because if you're not knowledgeable and experienced, it can be really dangerous for the pregnant sow and her babies. So please don't breed if you don't know what you're doing. And please be really careful when you're putting a male with a female that he is completely desexed, so they can't have babies. So if you've decided that neutering is a good idea for your guinea pig, you will need to find a vet, and you can't assume that any vet will be able to perform the operation, because a lot of vets just focus on cats and dogs and may have never performed a neuter on a small animal. You need to look for a small animal or an exotic vet who performs them fairly routinely, and please don't be afraid to ask how many they perform every year and their success rate, because at the end of the day you're trusting them with your guinea pig's life, so you really need to know that they're experienced to give your guinea pig the best chance at a speedy recovery. They're not going to be offended by any of these questions. In my opinion, they'll probably respect you as an owner for trying to protect your pet as best as you possibly can, so please don't be afraid to ask questions. Guinea pig forums offer a place for guinea pig people all over the world to chat and share piggy experiences, so why not post a topic or whatever and see if anyone near you has any recommendations, any vets that they've had a really good experience with, or any that they recommend avoiding. It's always worth asking. You could also try ringing up a local rescue or shelter. A lot of rescues do get guinea pigs in, and like I spoke about earlier, a lot of them do choose to neuter the guinea pigs to prevent the breeding of more. So you can always ring them up and see what vet they use, whether they've got any experiences with any local vets, good or bad, that they can tell you about. So rescues are normally more than happy to help, so don't be afraid to ring them up. So another consideration is cost, and cost will vary between vets and where you live in the world. I live in the UK and my vet is fairly pricey for this area, but he's amazing with small animals. I had to weigh up whether I wanted to pay less and get a less experienced vet, or whether the experience of the vet was worth that much to me that I was willing to pay more, which of course to me the vet's experience is the most important thing, because especially with an operation, because I'm trusting them with my pet's life, so I'd rather pay a little bit more. But Ollie's neuter cost me £62.52, which included a post-op check, and then I bought a short course of antibiotics to prevent an infection, and that was £8 2 and I also bought some pain medicine, which is optional, and that was £7.31. So the vet should also ensure that you bring your guinea pig in for a visit before the operation date, so they can assess its health and whether surgery is the right option. And because cost varies so greatly, you can ring around and see who offers guinea pig neuters and at what price, but to be honest, in my opinion, the vet's experience is more important. So I know money is a huge consideration for most people, but please try and avoid just going for the cheapest. Try and weigh up cost versus the experience of the vet. So before surgery, please check that your guinea pig is healthy. Arrange an appointment with a piggy savvy vet before the surgery date. Some vets will offer a blood test to check for any underlying health issues and resolve any suspected health issues before thinking about the neuter, because any health issues may add complications or risks to the surgery, and he may also not be the right size and age to undergo the procedure, so please talk to your vet about that. Vets will vary at what age and that sort of thing that they're willing to do the procedure, but don't be afraid to research yourself as well, because some vets don't have it all right. So don't be afraid to second guess, ask loads of questions, and you know, they're not going to be offended. So never starve your guinea pig prior to surgery, and food and water should be available as soon as they come round from the anaesthetic. Encourage them to eat as soon after as you can. It's really, really important that their digestive systems always have something passing through it to prevent it shutting down and going into GI stasis. So if your guinea pig's not eating the next day, then take them back to the vets. Guinea pigs can't vomit, which is the reason cats, dogs and people may be starved prior or post-op, and this is not necessary for guinea pigs. And to be honest, if your vet tells you to starve them before the surgery, I would personally look for another vet, because it shows to me that they don't really understand how guinea pigs' digestive systems work and stuff like that. They should never be starved before surgery, and they should have food and water as soon after as you possibly can. So post-op care, I was really surprised with how little post-op care there was. Your pig should be prescribed a 5-day course of antibiotics just to prevent infection, and optionally some pain medicine for 3 days. Pain medication is not usually required, however it might encourage them to eat after the surgery and to avoid them scratching or aggravating the area. So for at least 3 days after the surgery, the guinea pig should be housed on towels or fleece, which should be changed frequently. This avoids anything aggravating the area, and it also allows you to monitor poops easier, which is lovely. Guinea pig poos tell you quite a lot about their digestive system and their general health, so it's really good if you can monitor these, and anything like wood shavings could scratch against the area and irritate it, which could cause them to scratch and open up any wounds. And basically it's just nice to have them on a soft bedding, especially after a surgery. So take out any second levels or anything they need to climb over or stretch up to until they've completely recovered, which is usually about 1 or 2 weeks. So I would recommend taking away any hay racks or any ramps up to second levels or any litter trays they have to jump into. You should also check the area daily at least, just to check that it's healing nicely and there's no swelling or pus, which may indicate an infection. You can also monitor their weight and check they're eating properly. He should be eating later that day, and daily weighing will allow you to make sure that he's recovering well. If he becomes lethargic or refuses to eat, take him back to the vets. And please do not put him in with any females right away. Although the testicles have removed so he can't create any more sperm, there are still live sperm which have not yet died, and the time which you leave from getting them neutered in between introducing them with females depends, it varies a lot on which sources you look at, but to be honest I would recommend waiting at least 8 weeks just to be on the safe side. A lot of people, I think no one really knows generally. I've heard people say that they've put their guinea pig in after a week and they've been fine, and I've heard people say they've put them in after a month and the sows got pregnant. So just leave it as long as you can. I know you're dying to get them in. I'm still dying to get Ollie in with some girls so he can have a friend finally, but after putting him through a surgery it's not worth risking it, and I'm just leaving it as long as I can. So I would recommend waiting at least 8 weeks. So that's about it. I hope this has helped you. I did quite a lot of research prior to deciding to get Ollie neutered, and I hope this has helped you and helped you decide whether or not neutering is the right choice for your guinea pig. If you've got any questions, let me know. I will try and answer them as best I can. I do get a huge amount of comments, which I appreciate every single one of them, but it does mean that sometimes I can't answer every single person's comments. But you know, leave a question and I'll try and answer it best I can. I really hope this helped, and thank you for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye!